Will this make you faster? What about this? Or what about this?
Right now it feels like I'm getting, whoo!
I'm Emma-Kate Lidbury with Triathlete magazine, and I know recovery.
I am Frank Overton, and I know how to make you faster.
My name's Jared Berg, and I know science.
I'm Ben Delaney with Roll Massif and Velo News, and I don't know much. But in 20 years of cycling journalism, I've talked to a lot of pro riders and trainers and coaches about what works well for them for recovery and what doesn't. There are scores of products out there on the marketplace that claim to make you faster by improving your recovery through physical manipulation. And in this video, Emma-Kate and I are going to walk you through what we think works. And we're also going to talk to some experts like Dr. Jared Berg, who is an exercise physiologist at the CU Center for Sports Medicine, and Frank Overton, who is the owner of FasCat Coaching.
As a pro triathlete, I've tried it all. Recovery is, after all, a key part of training. But there's so many options out there, from the $2,500 NormaTec boots, all the way through to your weird, try-it-at-home DIY project things. And then, of course, there's sleep. Everybody likes sleep, lots of sleep. Sleep is key to recovery. But what do these things actually do? From squeezing your muscles and banging your body parts, how do they work? We're going to check it out.
Recovery, it means a lot of things. It basically, it can mean like getting ready for your next workout after your last hard session.
You train and your muscles, you break up your muscles, and when you recover, your body rebuilds them, and because your body is so good at rebuilding, it rebuilds them stronger. And that takes time. That's what recovery is to me as a coach.
You're trying to get your body back to that, again, recovered state where you're feeling more rested, you're feeling more ready to go for your next workout. You're trying to get muscles loaded back up with carbohydrates so they can handle the next session. You're trying to get rid of sort of the muscle soreness, the delayed onset fatigue that can happen after a hard session.
Let's talk about the different categories of things, starting with the high Zeid options. Now, I know you've had a lot of experience with racing and training with the NormaTec Space Legs.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you like those and why?
I really feel like, well, first of all, the science behind them is pretty strong, and I know they're super popular with triathletes, pros and age groupers alike.
The NormaTec boots are more like a dynamic compression, and so trying to sort of facilitate what your body would naturally sort of do and how it's going to pump blood, into the muscles throughout the body. It falls into that same general category of increasing blood perfusion, right? Where we're going to sort of inhibit and then the blood, and then we're going to allow it to sort of pump, and then we're going to increase that blood flow. And we know that's circulating those metabolites in like the lactate and the fatigue that we get from a hard effort or a long effort. If we can get some of the swelling out there, we're going to have definitely a little more comfort in our next workout and more effective.
The key part is they force you to sit your ass down. You've got to put them on, and when you've got them on, you can't go anywhere. You're recovering whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
You'll find a lot of triathletes who really like those, and they use them before races, after hard workouts, year round.
There's also the Theragun, which is a $600 piece of equipment that uses percussive massage.
Right, that thing scares me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's meant to kind of help with pain relief, but to me that just increases the pain sometimes. I've used those after hard workouts when my legs are really, really sore, and I know they're doing you good, but they just hurt a little bit too much for me. Maybe that's just me.
Getting that vibrating and trying to increase the blood flow again, so it's going to certainly help with that type of response to stress and to workload. We're going to maybe start to sort of look into the therapy kind of action of a recovery modality, where we're trying to sort of break up some sort of muscle adhesions where the muscles are just sort of kind of tightened up on each other and they're kind of sticking a little bit. If we can start working them out, it could potentially help fight against sort of what might turn into an injury.
And then there's the Mark Pro, right?
Sure, there's two versions of that. The Mark Pro is $700, not cheap, and then there's also the Mark Pro Plus, $1,400. This is a different type of thing. Instead of physically manipulating your body, it uses electrical pulses to cause your muscles to fire. I know my neighbor, Andy Bajadali, loved this when he was racing pro because he would use it sort of like a easy ride, a recovery ride, when he was not in a place to do it, a recovery ride, like sitting on the back of a plane on a 4-hour ride back from a race. get the muscles going and get some blood flowing.
Using electrostimulation, trying to use it as a recovery mode I'm not really thinking about it as much as a recovery as asking your body to turn a muscle on, right? It's like a signaling and trying to get like, hey, we always talk about, hey, my glute's not firing. Well, how do we get our glute to fire? So if we can stimulate it with the electric device, that's actually gonna, maybe helping improve some blood flow, right? And help improve some muscle development in an area that's just not getting it naturally. I think that's sort of the best way to think about that type of device. But again, if it is the blood flow thing, then it becomes a recovery tool.
For me, I'm kind of a lazy person, and it just feels like too much setup, and I'm not sure if I'm doing it right, and I'm also a cheap person, so this doesn't feel like a home run for me, but my buddy Andy loves it.
All right, I'm not sure what to do with this.
Then you've got your more run-of-the-mill options, things you can pick up at REI or Dick's Sporting Goods, things like compression socks or foam rollers or Theracanes.
Yeah, I mean the compression socks are super, and any kind of compression apparel really is super popular in the triathlon space.
Of course it is.
I mean, everybody's seen triathletes in airports after races, right?
The dorkier the better,
Yeah,
I think is the rule.
I know. We love them. Compression gear, I feel like, is a very, very cheap but effective way of trying to, kickstart that recovery process and get the blood pumping and get the nasties out. And you'll see a lot of triathletes and a lot of runners in doing their long runs and their key run workouts in their compression gear. And it's certainly like a big go-to recovery modality when we finish working out.
Easy to travel with, easy to pack. I like the trigger point roller and that it's a hollow thing.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cheap, it's like $40, something like this. You can get it with a little ball that you can sit on and use your own body weight or muscles to work out where it hurts.
So standard foam roller, right? But no, this is actually, it's got a harder core, so you don't have to probably don't have to weight down your body as much. So maybe it'll be a little bit easier when you're sort of trying to get your quads or whatever, or trying to work out a glute or hamstring. And so, but I think in the same things, you could use like a big old PVC pipe, right? If you want to get in there even a little bit deeper without having to put as much pressure.
I've been putting a foam roller in my bike bag whenever I travel to a race, pretty much since I've been racing. So I think foam roller is a key part of anybody's recovery program.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the bizarre do-it-yourself options. A lot of these come from inspiration with the Heizook pieces that are done at a Home Depot or another home improvement store.
I don't even know what they would call this in the lab. They wouldn't call it by brand name. If this is you're just probably mimicking what a massage therapist could do, which is manual manipulation.
Effectively the same type technology, or at least it feels the same, for a tenth of the price.
What's cool about it is your trigger finger controls the speed. And so I'm here slower, right? And that's kind of and then I just speed it up, right? Versus turn it, right? That's pretty cool.
I think more and more people are thinking about ways they can try and get a cheaper alternative to some of the more expensive options.
Sure, like a car buffer. I had never heard of this until we were talking about this. Well, I said, oh yeah, all triathletes know about car buffers.
Car buffers are the go-to, yeah.
All right. I feel like not so much like you're gonna be getting after a real tender spot, trigger point, but you're more like blood flow, like really getting it warm in there. It's almost like heat, really. Huh. I like it.
It's powerful, and I can definitely feel the difference after I've used it. It's kind of weird, but it kind of works.
And then we have my favorite category, the free one.
Ooh.
What's available naturally or in the natural world.
What's your preferred natural remedy for recovery?
On a hot day, jumping into a creek. Preferably with a chocolate milkshake in my hand. Those are my two go-tos there.
Not cold beer?
Perhaps cold beer.
One of my go-tos was always to come in from a hard workout, when your heart rate's been super high, the stress response is really high, and the key thing you really want to do, and what we're trying to do with recovery, is to get that heart rate to come down and get the nervous system to relax. And one of my favorite ways to do that is to get legs up against the wall and just to kind of zen out, try and get the nervous system to reset and calm down. And that's obviously as cheap as it gets, as free. But that was definitely one of my go-to options.
It's the ultimate end goal, which is to allow the body to reset.
Right, yeah.
That's what recover means. So with years of training and racing professionally under your belt, what do you use?
Well, my go-to was always NormaTec's because they really did force me to sit still. The science obviously takes care of itself, and you're sat still. I think triathletes, generally they're kind of type A. They have a problem with resting and not doing anything. So NormaTec would always keep me in one place. They would anchor me, and then the kind of recovery takes care of itself. But obviously they don't come cheap. If you're looking for something more cost-effective, then you can't really go wrong with compression gear. Like compression socks are pretty cheap. To me, given the price tag, they're a no-brainer. But you also really can't beat sleep. I mean, sleep is the key. It's totally free. And it really helps reset your system and start bringing in all the benefits of the training when you're sleeping. So yeah, cat naps, rest, legs up the wall, just resetting the nervous system and getting a good night's sleep. You just can't beat that.
So I like the trigger point roller in that you can stuff clothing inside of it, so it's easy to travel with. It's pretty simple to use when you're reading or staring at TV or whatever. I've really enjoyed the Theragun and this homemade jigsaw massager. Just being a lazy person, it's nice to push a trigger and get hard pressure. Sometimes like when you're super tired, balancing yourself on a roller, even that feels like too much. So I like being able to pull a trigger and have results happen. And then again, just jumping in the creek. I don't know the physiological benefits, I just know it feels good.
Sure it does.
This product was underwritten by Millie, which makes a different kind of recovery products. Millie is a Colorado company which sells 100% THC-free CBD products, like a relief patch. You can put on wherever it hurts, lasts for 24 to 48 hours. There's a CBD relief gel. Again, you can apply wherever on your body it hurts. And there's also a CBD herbal supplement you can take in a soft gel form. You can find out more about CBD and Millie at millie.co.
Thanks for watching and recover well.
Yeah, what she said.